Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Another video for you. So I have been asked many times how much I've spent on this truck, and I'm going to answer that for you today. So for those of you who are new to the channel, this is a 91 Toyota pickup with a solid axle swap and a Volkswagen TDI engine. So I'm going to kind of break this up into two kind of different sections because I did the whole suspension, the solid axle swap, and the motor swap all at the same time. So let's start with the suspension, since that's what I did kind of first on the whole build. I bought the entire Trail Gear IFS Eliminator kit, and that came with all the leafs, all the mounts, all the brackets, the front shocks, basically everything for the front end to swap. The rear was all purchased somewhere else. So the entire solid axle swap kit costed $1,700. The front axle is out of an 85 Toyota pickup. I paid $450 for that. It's got a FJ80 high pinion front third member. I paid $200 for that. The axle kit, or the solid axle swap kit, didn't come with backing plate eliminators. So it's just basically a plate you bolt onto the axle and it eliminates that backing plate. That costed 25 bucks. And that is really all that I've spent on the front end. So moving to the rear, we got a set of F-150 leafs. I just got those at a junkyard. I paid 50 bucks for those. The hangers and shackles here were from Rough Stuff. Those were $130. I also have an add-a-leaf in those leafs that costed 75 bucks, and the rear Bilstein shocks costed $275. And while I was at it, I also put all new poly bushings in these leafs, and that costed $80. And also did brakes, front and rear, and that costed 75 bucks. So that totals $3,060 for the entire solid axle swap. Obviously I did it a little bit cheaper going with the F-150 leafs versus say like a Trail Gear or an All Pro leaf in the rear, so that can save you guys some money. So next, moving on to the engine, this is a TDI. It's an ALH out of a 2000 Volkswagen Jetta. The adapter plate I bought costed $1,000. That was for the adapter plate, the crank adapter, and some adapters to mount your stock Toyota motor mounts on to the TDI block. Next I have a 1856 turbo, and I got a set of .260 injectors, complete. I bought complete injectors with the nozzles on them. The turbo and injectors were from X-Man. Those costed $1,400. This is tuned by Jeff Stevenson, and tuning I'm in about 225 bucks. The lift pump I have is a PD lift pump. That is $115. The injection pump is a bigger 11mm pump. I paid $225 for that. I have a set of ARP head studs in. That costed $280. This intake manifold is a PD 150. That costed me $120. The race pipe I bought, obviously it's modified now, but I paid $50 for that. While I had this motor out and everything, I did a timing belt, water pump, all that. That entire kit costed me $245. The flywheel I'm running is a stock 3.0 V6 Toyota flywheel. I just went and bought a brand new one, and that was 50 bucks for, I think it was a Luke brand, so pretty reasonable there. The clutch I have is a Marlin Crawler 2,500 pound. It's one of their heavy duty clutches. That costed $275. The exhaust, which I did build all myself, is complete stainless steel. It's a 2.5 inch downpipe here, wraps around to a 3 inch all the way out. All the piping and clamps and everything for that costed $330. Coming up front, behind this grill, I got an intercooler. That costed $100. All this piping for the intercooler and intake and all that costed $85. All the couplers you see and clamps, that costed about $150. This AEM dry flow filter and pre-filter costed $100. Moving on to the cooling system, all these hoses I bought and clamps and everything basically complete the cooling system costed about $170. On the back of the engine there's a flange that bolts to the head. This was originally a manual car and they have coolant glow plugs. Those did not fit, so I actually bought a flange off automatic car that costed 20 bucks. I got a stainless coolant overflow tank here that costed $25. Over on this side you can see the oil line is a steel braided line for the turbo feed. That costed $40. Over here we got an electric fan and the wiring kit for that. There's a relay here, the wiring, and a probe here. That costed $30. Coming underneath the truck, I got a Fumoto drain valve in the oil pan. That costed $35. The map sensor costed $40. That's a 3-bar map, and then that bung that you weld on was 30 bucks. Everything for the wiring harness, everything wiring related, like all the tape, the loom, connectors, solder, all that stuff was about $100. And then I spent about $350 on just random metal to fabricate mounts and whatever else I had to build. So that pretty much sums up the TDI swap, the engine swap itself, and that totals $55.90, so $5,590. And obviously you could do it cheaper if you're not going to go all out, do the big turbo, injectors, pump, all that. So you could definitely do it quite a bit cheaper, but I wanted this thing to have some power, so I went with the bigger turbo and everything. And obviously we got some more goodies on the truck, so I'll kind of go over that too. The wheels here I got used. I paid $600 for those. The 35s I paid $700 for. I have a Move front bumper on it. That costed $475. And I actually did get it powder coated. That costed $275. We got a set of LED headlights. That costed $85. On the Toyotas you actually need a separate wiring kit. You can see down there those two relays there. So there's the relays and then the whole wiring kit. That costed $25. In the front bumper I have 4 LED pods and a light bar. That costed $90 with the harnesses and everything. Set those up. This grill is kind of a custom piece. It started out as a 92 style grill and I modified it and painted it and all that, but the grill itself cost me $50. I did buy new side marker lights. That costed $50. Over here we have a Deca Intimidator battery. That costed $200. And the Trail Gear battery box was $50. Coming into the inside of the truck, we got a few goodies. These switches, I got one for the light bar, one for the pods. Those were 20 bucks for both. The gauges, I have a boost gauge and a exhaust temperature gauge. Those were $250. The pod is actually an Acura Integra pod, and they are dirt cheap. They're 10 bucks, and they fit these Toyotas really good. So that was $10. And then I actually have a TAC converter to convert the signal to power my Toyota TAC. That costed me $90. So all the kind of stuff that isn't swap related costed $2,975. So the truck itself I paid $1,000 for. It was completely stock, and the donor car I bought for the motor, the wiring, all that stuff, I paid $350 for. So that puts us at a grand total of $12,975 to build this truck as it sits today. Obviously we're not done with it. We still got a lot more to do. and a lot more fun to be had. So I hope that answers some of your questions on kind of what it costs. Obviously you could do it cheaper, obviously you can spend more. I kind of went all out, did the solid axle, did the engine swap, wheels, tires, bumper, big turbo, all that good stuff. If you were to go bare bones, just doing the swap itself with the stock turbo, you can do it pretty cheap. It's really not that expensive to swap these things. Like I said, I kind of just wanted to go all out and build a sweet truck, so that's what I'm into it. Obviously we got more stuff to do and we're going to be putting more money into it, but right now as it sits, we're at $12,975. So I hope that answers some of your guys' questions on kind of what it costs to build this truck. So thanks for watching, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next video.